Yo, what's up? Hope everyone doing fantastic today. So I want to talk about Bleak Faith, Forsaken. So in the last couple days, we've got a couple or a few updates. So this was posted yesterday. This is regarding the controllers and Steam input. So what they did was, after tweaking controller settings, they personally went in and looked to see what was worked best, and they said to put the Steam input to gamepad with camera control. They said that works the best. They said so if you go into Steam, set it to use default settings, and then you may have to restart Steam after you do that. Now, the reason why I am mentioning this because in my first impression video, I said to change it to disable Steam input. So if you don't know how to do that, then you're going to right click on the game and then you would go to like properties and then game controller or whatever it is, and change it right there from the drop down menu. So this option also requires you to disable raw input inside of the game. So once you boot the game up, you go in there and just put raw input. So then they had their patch notes that come out. So they said that they're going to be doing a few daily patches, and then they're going to start going on a weekly patch schedule. So you could read. I will link these in the description of this video, but it says their biggest priority is making character movement easier to handle, as well as controller support and bug fixing some of the bigger issues. And goes, we will be doing a series of hot fixes over the course of the next few days, and then slowly transition into a weekly patch schedule. So some of the changes that they did make, they locked the FPS to 90 maximum and then 60 FPS by default and recommended. So I mentioned that in the video. I have kept my game at 60 FPS. I haven't really had many issues at all as far as like player movement. I mean, every now and then it feels like uh I don't know what word to, it may be a little too floaty. Like if I say do a roll, like your movement where you would like dodge or roll. So if I do the little roll like going downstairs, sometimes it feels like the movement is too far. Like I'll a long stair case or whatever where it's like 20 steps, feels like I go from the top and then roll all the way to the bottom like in one roll. And where in most games that I played that have similar mechanics, you might go 5 steps or something like that. I don't know, just as an example. Anyway, controller default bindings after reading feedback. If you can't properly reset to default settings, try deleting, and then it has like a C user, username, app data, etc. The Giants no longer deal 100% of damage of 100% of players' health. So they basically would one hit kill you. And then now they have a set damage dealt parameter, which can be further mitigated by your armor. So obviously, if you have armor that you're able to withstand, more damage, then the giant would do less damage, in a sense, less percentage based damage. Removed start animations for unarmed movement to reduce impulse on initial movement. Redesigned the climbing section in Monastery as it was causing issues. So I'm not sure uh, what that was. I don't know. Improved readability of some areas in the monastery, with slight change to map layout, and then other smaller changes. And then some of the things that they fixed enemies spawning inside of props. I did notice that like a few times, which I didn't look at it as a major deal because it's a day one launch. I played it an hour or two after the game launched officially, so I expected to have little minor bugs. And I mean, every game I play has clipping and stuff where you get knocked through the wall or stuff spawning inside of. I mean, every game I play, doesn't matter which one. So nothing big there. New game accepting none as autosaved name, causing issues with saving and loading. So they fixed that. Players being able to aggro boss outside of his arena. I did notice that, like, it just seemed like there was no, like, if you think of, let's just use like Dark Souls or Elden Ring or something as an example. You go through the fog door, you fight the boss, you're stuck in that area. You didn't really have this with some of the bosses. It felt like it was just, you could just go wherever. And sometimes I even had the boss spawn outside of the arena. I did notice that. So, you know, not being able to like aggro the boss to leave the arena. That way you could like trap him to where he's not able to like hit you. That's a good thing. Torch being displayed as weapon. And then the tips panel and settings displaying wrong tip for certain keybinds. I noticed some of the tip things like having the missing video or whatever, which wasn't a big deal. I've seen people complain about it, and I'm like, bro, it's just a demo. Like, I mean, not the game, but showing you like the weapon art. And it was like a little video that would play. Like, it's not a big deal. you know, Equip the weapon art and try it for yourself. I mean, I don't know, whatever. It's a minor thing. It's nothing to be upset about. Then they have another patch here. This was the second one. Like I said, there was two of them. I said kind of three because the first one that I read off, this was just where they had changed like the default setting, but then these were the two small patches that it got. Controller movement analogs are no longer as sensitive. Player can move any degree diagonally now from previous lock to 0, 45, 90, etc. Removed 180-degree animation turns that cause loss of character control. So now making movement more smooth. Increase base chance of illusions from 5% to 7.5 for one-handed weapons, 15 for two, 20 for great weapons. Then they removed numbers from perk names, causing misunderstanding player, causing misunderstanding. Player is able to pick all three upgrades now. And then left-handed weapons no longer count as offhand, but are now main hand. And then they redone the perk icons because people complained about that because they were AI art. I mean, does it really matter? Like, people complain about, oh my God, everything. It's just so annoying. Like, who cares? Like, it's just something you're never going to see. Like, you're going to look at it for 30 seconds, like every couple hours when you're, changing perks or something like that. Like, if no one would have complained about it, I never would have known that it was AI art because you know what? I don't care if it's AI art. Like, sorry, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have anything to do. Like, I don't care. Like, they didn't hire an artist to do perk art. Oh my gosh, that really offends me. Okay, whatever. There are some fixes, grammar fixes and tutorial, an expanded tutorial to explain extraction of essence for anomalous crystals. Belt slots no longer refill to a dead character, causing you to lose some potions. I did notice that, like when it would refill, like after I would get deleted, and then I would have, say I'd go from 40 to 37 health potions or, elixir or whatever. Mini bosses no longer will follow player after a player's death. So some of them, like, you would die and then like you would spawn back and like the enemies like right there. Removing the homunculus mirage, that's the little thing you could use to like respawn. You could set it outside, like say like a boss, so that way if you die, you don't have to like run all the way across the map, which I like that. That was a really cool little thing. So you can basically pick where you respawn at. So anyway, removed that and respawning at previous homunculus now properly grants you the proper mirage. Illusions will now properly spawn with weapons in their left hand. No longer possible to use some inputs while player is dead. And then removed small trigger in center of Nergay Arena that caused players to die instantly. I don't think I've seen that. Maybe didn't get that far in the game. I did play it more other than my initial stream. And then like for my review, I think I've got like 5-6 hours into it. I'm playing a few games right now, so I am playing this, but I will do a full review on this once I finish the game, which I plan to do this coming week. I got a big week. I'm going to be doing some PSVR 2 stuff. few other things that I have on the table as far as content that I plan on uploading or testing out or trying. There's a couple games that are dropping that I want to play, some smaller games. With that said, it's good to see Bleak Faith get a couple updates. Anytime they update this, I will probably talk about it or post a video with it. If you have any questions about Bleak Faith, feel free to leave that down below. Be sure to check out my initial impression with the game. I like that the developers, the three developers for this whole game, are, seemingly seems like they're active and passionate about fixing it. And that's good because, the game does have a lot of issues. That's not, I'm not here to, like bootleg the game and be like, oh, it's perfect. It's not. There are a lot of issues with the game. But as far as, in my opinion, goes, it's fun. I've had a good experience with it as far as it being a fun game, despite having some issues, gameplay wise, graphic wise, bugs, things like that. Like it has issues with it. It very much, in my opinion, feels like a, you know, I don't want to I don't want to say alpha, but maybe like a beta version of like a full game. Definitely has issues. So, or early access probably would be the better way to put it for Steam. But that's the video right there. Hopefully the developers can continue to work on this over the next, several months, and it will, get better over the time. I'm fairly certain of that. I feel like it will, and I have enjoyed what I've played. But that's an update on the game with some of the patch notes, etc. If you played this game and like it, let me know because I like it. I will link the Steam page and the description as well. I'm out. Peace.